What's going on, guys? It's your girl, Megan Savage, and peep the new setup. If you guys have been following my TikTok at all, I've been talking about this YouTube setup for a while. It's still not complete, but it's a lot better than it was before. What I would love your guys' help with is, what do I put on this shelf? Like, I'm not good at interior design at all. So help a girl out. So today we're going to talk about the 4 color personalities of a trader. Why would 2 traders that have the same strategy, same broker, and even the same setup get 2 different results? One of them is consistent and growing, and the other one is getting stuck. Revenge trading, overtrading, freezing, blowing accounts. We've all been there. And as I've said so many times, it's simply not just the strategy. It's the person behind the strategy, but more specifically, their personality. So today, I'm going to break down the 4 color personalities and show you exactly how each one of them shows up in your trading. The strengths, the weaknesses, the patterns that are quietly sabotaging your results, and more importantly, how to fix them. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what type of trader you are and what to do about it. So let's get to it. Really quick, for those of you who don't know what the color personalities are, I'm going to give you a quick 30-second breakdown. Color personalities are a framework to understand how people naturally think, how they behave, how they make decisions. It's not astrology or some quiz you're going to take. It's a tool for self-awareness. There are 4 colors. Every single one of these has a version that thrives in their trading, but they also have a version that destroys their account. And the difference between the 2 is awareness and strategy. So I'm going to go color by color and break it down for you and find out what you actually see yourself as. If you see yourself clearly, you can fix what's costing you money. All right, we're going to start off strong with red. Red traders move fast. They see a setup and they're already in it before they even look at their checklists. They thrive in volatile markets. Give them a high momentum open, give them a breakout, give them chaos, and they are in their element. Reds are competitive to their core. They don't just want to be profitable. They want to win. They want the biggest P&L in the room. They want to be the first to pass challenges. They're not trading for fun. They're trading to dominate. And you know what? Their drive is an incredible asset. Reds who make it big. So let's talk about Red's strengths. Reds are decisive. When a setup forms, they pull the trigger. No hesitation, no second guessing. In trading, hesitation costs you a lot of money. And Reds don't hesitate. They're resilient. Take a loss, they're already looking for the next setup. They don't spiral, they don't dwell, they just move forward. They're natural risk takers, which in the right doses is exactly what trading requires. You can't make money without putting money on the line. And their competitive nature pushes them to keep going. They will study, they will grind, and they will outwork most people in the room. Losing is simply not an option for them. But now let's talk about their weaknesses. This is the #1 killer for red traders. They don't want confirmation. They jump on trades early because they feel right. They add to losing positions because they're convinced that they are right. They revenge trade because they need to get that win. Reds can be incredibly stubborn. They tend to stay in bad trades longer than they should, because admitting that they're wrong feels like losing. And Reds do not lose, except when they do. And then it's typically a big loss. Overtrading is Reds' problem. When the markets slow down, Reds manufacture setups that aren't necessarily there because they need to feel like they're doing something. Sitting still is painful for them. And honestly, Reds can be quite dismissive, especially of process like skipping journaling, skipping reviewing trades. They just want to trade. And that impatience will keep them stuck. Now, if you're a red, your personality is one of the greatest assets you can have as a trader, only if you build structure around it. Here's what that looks like. 1, you're going to create rules, hard stop losses that you won't override, max trade limit per day, a rule that you can't re-enter the trade after it's lost. You're not removing your aggression, you're redirecting it. 2, you need to journal your trades. I know you don't want to do it anyway. Your competitive nature actually works well here. Track your wins, track your profit. Let the data become something you try to beat. Turn your own stats into a competition for yourself. And listen, your girl's a little bit of a red. So if you don't already have this set up, use TradeZella. I would hate after trading having to take all the screenshots, take all the notes, write everything down and do all my own calculations to get my own data. Because I did know it was important, I just didn't have the patience for it. TradeZella, you can literally hook up your broker to it and it will record all of this data and some I didn't even know that I need. And it's just good to have it all in front of you to give you perspective. I'm going to leave the link down below in the description so you can take a look for yourself, as well as a 20% off promo code. So don't say I've never done anything nice for you. 3, you're going to build your pre-trade checklist and follow it without exception. Not because you needed to see the setup. I know you already see it. It's because it separates the reckless entries from the good ones. And 4, learn to value patience as a weapon. The best red traders are the ones that have learned waiting for the right setup is not a weakness. Quality over quantity specialty. I be seeing some people dish out 50 signals an hour. That's not really trading. You don't have to trade every session to win. The red trader that masters their impulses, unstoppable. Now we're gonna move on to the blues. Okay, blues. The blue trader is enthusiastic about trading, like really enthusiastic. They've watched every YouTube video. They follow all the trading accounts on Instagram and TikTok. They're in every Discord server. They're posting their charts. They're hyping up other traders. Their energy is infectious. Blues are very optimistic. Their mindset is genuinely super powerful in the field, especially when everybody is discouraged and thinking about quitting. They are social, which makes them naturally great at building trading communities and networks, finding mentors, and staying in the game a lot longer than most people do. Blues are passionate. Passion is what keeps you going when things get really hard. Trading is a long game, and blues, they're built for the long game. They're great communicators. They can explain, inspire, and connect naturally to people. Their optimism is their edge. Most traders let losses compound mentally. Blues shake it off faster than anybody else. Their emotional bounce back rate is high, and blues are very intuitive. They pick up market energy easily. But here's the thing about blue in trading. Their biggest strength is also their biggest liability. Emotion. Blues can fall in love with trades. They enter a position because they're convinced it will work just because it feels good. And when it goes against them, they don't close. They start making up reasons on why it will recover. This is hope trading, and it is expensive. Blues are impulsive in different ways than red. They don't necessarily trade out of aggression. They trade out of excitement. Blues can be disorganized. They have different journals lying around with different trade entries. And because they want to be liked and included, blues are susceptible to social trading, following what somebody else is posting, copying other people's signals, chasing moves that other people are talking about, with no real logic behind it, so it's not a strategy. But blues, your energy and passion are rare and very valuable. Here's how you're gonna turn them into consistent profit. One, you're gonna separate the excitement from your edge. Before you enter any trade, you're gonna stop and you're gonna ask yourself, am I entering this because it follows my rules, or am I entering this just because I'm excited? One makes money, one makes content. Two, you're gonna use your social nature strategically. Instead of consuming everybody else's trading ideas, build accountability with one trader. Find that one mentor that you trust. I obviously use YouTube, and there's tons of free content out there, but something that cost me a lot of money in my first 2 years of trading is I would bounce from person to person to try to build this said strategy, which my experienced traders already know that doesn't work. And I came to realize that everybody had a different definition for the same thing, and it just made the journey of learning how to actually make a profit so much longer. So find that one person that you trust and just trust the process. There's even mentor mode on TradeZella, like I mentioned before, where you can actually have this person have access to all the data I was talking to you about before and allow you to share your journal. Number 3, create a pre-session wind down routine. Blues can come to the charts hot, excited, caffeinated, ready to go. But the market doesn't care about your energy, so you gotta slow down. Take 5 minutes, review your plan, and then get started. The blue traders who focus on organization, they become some of the best educators out there because nobody can communicate better than a blue who knows what they're doing. Yellows, I want you to feel seen right now because the world needs you, trading needs you, but nobody talks about how uniquely hard trading can be as an environment for a yellow. The yellow trader cares about everything. They care about doing the right thing, following the rules, not hurting anyone. They're loyal to their strategy, loyal to their mentors, to the process. If someone in their community is struggling, they are the first persons to reach out. They're very patient. They know the game, and they know that they're not trying to get rich overnight. They understand that it's a journey. And yellows are great listeners, which means they absorb education deeply. And when they commit to learning, they really commit. Patience is a yellow superpower. Yellows will wait all day and night for the perfect setup. They do not need to force anything. Their discipline, when it's working, leads to high quality entries and clean risk management. Yellows follow the rules. They're not ego driven, which means they're far less likely to move their stop loss or size up recklessly. They protect their account naturally. They're steady. They have no blow up days. No emotional spirals. The yellow trader's equity curve tends to be way smoother than most, mainly because they're not battling with themselves every session. They are the most coachable that you'll ever get. A mentor's dream, really. You tell a yellow something once and they take it serious. They apply it right away, and that's very rare. But here's the hard truth for yellows. And I say this with all the love. Your biggest enemy in trading is not the markets. It's your hesitation. Yellows miss trades. Good trades. Trades that were right in front of you because they were waiting for more confirmation, because it didn't feel perfect, because they weren't sure enough. And while they were waiting, the trade ran off without them. Yellows are conflict avoiders. And in trading, the entry is conflict. That requires a level of assertiveness that doesn't come naturally to yellows. They can also be too influenced by others. If a mentor says, be careful today, Yellows are the type to sit out the entire session, even if the setup appears perfectly. If someone in their community says they're struggling, they absorb that anxiety. Yellows can sacrifice their trading plan for harmony. They'll close a winning trade early, mainly if it makes them uncomfortable. They'll avoid sizing up when their strategy says to because it feels risky. They protect their feelings over results. Yellows, your steadiness and discipline are elite. The only thing standing in your way between you and consistent profit is learning to trust yourself. And here's how. 1, build a rule that forces you to act. If your setup appears and all your conditions are met, you have to take the trade. Don't think about it, just do it. I know it's scary at first, but you will get over it. This is why journaling is so important, because that fear of trusting yourself goes away when you have data in front of you. Number 2, define what good enough looks like to you. Yellows wait for perfect, and perfect doesn't exist. Create your clear written checklist like everybody else, and if your boxes are checked, take it. 3, you're going to separate your emotions from the execution. You are allowed to feel nervous, especially before a trade. That is completely normal. But emotion does not make a trade. Your plan does. Number 4, stop consuming other people's content. And I know this may shock some people, but I am being serious. It doesn't matter if it's your favorite YouTuber, Twitter person, does not matter. Even me, if my content is making you so nervous that you're not trading, you shouldn't be watching it. Build confidence in your own data, your own plan, your own trading, and then go listen to all the billion voices on the internet. A yellow trader that learns to pull the trigger, they're consistent in ways that most reds and blues can only dream about because their foundation is already really solid. They just need to act, and you know who you are. And then there was green. Green, oh green. The most detail-oriented, most analytical, most thorough human being on the planet. They are the definition of people who read the entire terms of conditions before buying anything. Honestly, the complete opposite of red. And just to close a loop on what you guys are going to hear, yes, yellows and greens both hesitate, but a yellow was sitting there feeling anxious, while a green is sitting there running calculations. The green trader has done the work. They have read the books, they have studied their charts, they know their strategy inside and out. And honestly, probably better than anybody in the room. They have back-tested it, they have spreadsheets, multiple spreadsheets, probably color-coded. TradeZella was actually literally made for green traders. And I'm not joking. Every data point, every report, greens are there for hours and hours, cross-referencing their win rate by instrument, by session, by phase of the moon. Greens have high standards. They will not enter a mediocre trade. They want precision, they want quality. Greens are the best backtesters in the building. Like I said, their strategy is not built on vibes, it's built on data. And their foundation is incredibly valuable. They know their R to the decimal, and their precision protects their account. They don't cut corners. They do their pre-session prep, they review everything. This habit comes naturally to greens. And because of their high standards, when they do enter a trade, it's a very high quality one. But here's the brutal truth about green traders, and most of them actually know this already because they see it in their data, but they suffer from analysis paralysis. The setup is there, the checklist is there, but they still feel like they need more confirmation. Sometimes it doesn't even matter how much data is in front of them. It's almost a denial problem. Greens will spend a long time in the research phase, but not actually execute. If you guys haven't noticed yet, perfectionism hurts. Because in trading, and this is a hard pill to swallow, a 70% win rate on real executed trades is way better than a 100% win rate on an imaginary account. Greens are very overcritical about themselves. A B+ setup that was perfectly executed is not good enough for them. This self-criticism leads to more hesitation, which leads to more missed trades, which leads to frustration, which leads to more analysis. Greens are also very slow to adapt and make change. What worked last month might not work this month. Because greens spend so much time validating their system, changing it sort of feels like starting over. This resistance to adapt costs a lot. But greens are sitting on a gold mine of preparation and knowledge. The only thing between them and profitability is learning to trust the work that they've already done. So here's what this looks like. Number 1, you're going to set a trade timer. Once the setup is confirmed, you have 30 seconds to make a decision. You do not need to analyze more than that. This forces action and breaks you out of analysis paralysis. 2, separate your research time from your trading time. Do not be backtesting during times you're supposed to be actively trading. It's very easy to get confused over the two, and the next thing you know, it's been an entire month and you've not placed one trade. 3, define a B+ setup. That is also okay. Not every trade needs to be perfect. It does need to be quality, but it doesn't need to be perfect. 4, and some of you might not agree with this, but set a minimum trade requirement for each week. Not a maximum, a minimum. You must take a minimum of blank trades. This forces you out of preparation mode and into participation mode. And 5, use your analytical nature to study execution quality, not just setup quality. Don't just track whether the setup worked, but whether you executed it when it appeared. Your miss rate might shock you. A green trader that learns to execute the plan that they already built, they are some of the most sophisticated, precise, and consistently profitable traders in the market. The work is done. They just need to show up. Okay, so now that we know all the color personalities, which one makes the best trader? All of them and none of them. Every single color has the ability to become a funded, professional, profitable, consistent trader. And every one of them has patterns that will destroy their accounts if left unchecked. The question is not what color is the best trader. The question is, which version of your personality are you going to commit to becoming? Here's what I want you to do right now. Number 1, drop your color in the comments below. Be honest, nobody's judging. 2, like I said in the beginning of this video, how important it is to journal. I don't care if you want a pen and a notebook. I don't care if you want to put it in your notes app or take that extra step and invest into yourself and get TradeZella. But you need to make a system that will show you your data. Number 3, subscribe if you already haven't, because this channel exists for one reason only, to help you become a profitable trader. And in case you forgot, you are savage, not average, and I'll see you guys on the next video.